Well, welcome to Wednesday, and we are looking at continuing our coffee with Job. And just to say what I'm trying to do is each day, we're in lockdown here, and some of you are in lockdown and some of you aren't, and lots of us all face all kinds of different situations, not necessarily to do with COVID. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give one thing each day to help and to encourage and maybe to challenge. So we're Job chapter 6, and Job is answering his friends, and we'll look at that in a moment, but let's just think for a second about friends. I mean, how many friends do you have? I had, or have, 5,000 on Facebook. They're not real friends. You cull them and, left with 1,500 or whatever. They're not real friends. What's a real friend? Workmates? People who you work with, and when you finish your job, you're probably never going to see them again. Acquaintances? Maybe the closest we get is school friends, where you're just really, really close to your friends. I would define a friend almost like this: are people who will contact you when they don't want something, that you care for, that you share about. Some of us don't have a lot of friends, to be honest. I don't think friends in terms of the television program Friends. I think more band of brothers type thing, that you do things together and you will work together. So Job has friends, three wise men, influential friends or whatever, and they come to see him, they come to comfort him. But he feels alienated from God, and he feels alienated from his friends, and he's angry with his friends. Listen to this. Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as the streams that overflow when darkened by thawing ice and swollen with melting snow, but that stop flowing in the dry season and in the heat vanish from their channels. Caravans turn aside from their routes. They go off into the wasteland and perish. The caravans of Tema look for water. The travelling merchants of Sheba look in hope. They are distressed because they had been confident. They arrive there only to be disappointed. Now you too have proved to be of no help. You see something dreadful and are afraid. Do you know what? Let's leave that there, because I think there's just something there to consider. A person who is unkind or disloyal to their friends is not a truly Christian person. There you go. There's a thought for you. That's what he says. And he talks here in verse 14 about devotion, withholding kindness, or chesed is what it's called. And it means covenant loyalty. It's the kind of thing that David and Jonathan were to have. There's a loyalty that you have to your friends. You can critique your friends, you can disagree with your friends, but you remain loyal to them. You're not going to trash them. And he says they're useless. They should have refreshed him. That's what they should have done. But what did they do? He gives this illustration of a dry river in the summer. Now the wadi were the dry riverbeds which run down to the Jordan Basin. In winter, when nobody needs them, there's lots of water. And in summer, when the caravans are on the move again, there's no water in them. So people will say, oh, I remember there was this wadi here, and they go and they turn up and they were expecting springs of water and there isn't any. And so they're not refreshed. He feels alienated from them. I just wonder if sometimes you and I, our friends, they look for refreshment from us and they don't get any. And they're afraid. Look at verse 21. You've proved to be of no help. You see something dreadful and are afraid. Job goes on to say he hasn't been asking them for money. He's just wanting some empathy. Is he right to condemn them? I think he is. It's very hard to comfort someone in such distress, but they're afraid of getting involved, or they're afraid they'll share in his sin or in his punishment. It's easier to care and pontificate from a distance. It's easier to send an emoji. It's easier to go, I heart so-and-so. Real sympathy means simply to suffer together with. It's like in the film Spartacus, when Spartacus is going to be killed, and who is Spartacus? I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. When your friend suffers, you suffer with them. In all of this, we learn that in our trouble, What trouble does is it reveals our true friends, and it reveals their spiritual capacity, and it reveals our spiritual capacity. I'll leave you with this thought. Jesus, greater love has no one than this, John 15, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends, for everything I've learned from my Father I've made known to you. The covenant loyalty of Jesus to his friends. Does that not comfort you? See you tomorrow.